What is going on, everybody? I'm glad you all could join me. Tell you a little. So here goes with that. Oops. Here goes with that. And I woke up one night, and I think maybe 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning my time, and just happened to see when this was first being reported. And that night, I did not go to sleep at all, and just ever since then, I just felt something that night was wrong, and I still, till this day, think something's wrong. We are not. We're going to find something out. I don't know what it is. We may never find the actual truth, but we're going to find something. And that's a little bit about my history with this Las Vegas shooting. I have spent what feels to be millions of hours researching this. I made some great friends along the way. People I talk to on a regular basis every day. So that's just a little bit about my past. I do have a guest here with me today. You guys know him by Secrets Safe with You. Very cool guy. I worked with him on and off. He has done great things. I mean, the rooftop video on the Tropicana, I mean, I even use that in one of my videos. Why was that guy up there on that rooftop at the time that he was? I mean, a lot of questions there. The lock reports, he did great jobs on those. And also, I don't know if y'all have noticed, but this dude has great taste in music. I mean, sometimes I forget I'm watching his videos and I listen to his music. But other than that, I'm just going to bring him in. If you want to say hello, Secrets, we'll get you in and tell you a little bit about your backstory.
I appreciate that, Truth Bomb. Glad you're doing this. The more of this kind of thing that it is done, the better. It gives us all a chance to share in the conversation as we go. And it's just nice to have you doing this and allow me to be included.
Well, man, I appreciate you coming on with me. It's going a way that I don't want it to go, and I don't want to touch too much on that right now, but I just want everybody to know that we're still here doing we're still here fighting. And the more we fight, the more we're going to find out, hopefully. And just a lot of things, I feel like we're close, but we're not there yet,
This is a rather painful topic. The entire situation that we're all examining. What happened that night. It's horrible. What the people that were there went through is horrible. The way they were terrorized. So as we go along in this, it's naturally full of emotion, and I feel like it's been that way for me since day one, as we all look to find out what all went on there that night, and we've continued to all collectively follow the clues and try to figure that out. So, people are trying very hard at this. They're spending day and night at it, and they're serious about their work. So when you have that kind of situation going on, people are going to get a little upset along the way. That's understandable. So, but I'm like you. There's been so many reasons to feel suspicious about what's been reported, and plenty of questions about what we feel has not been reported. So this has been an interesting process, and I've never said I was an expert in any of this, but I'm certainly passionate about continuing to process through it.
Okay. How did you come come along to research as much as you have?
I think I started out like a lot of people. I've heard others talk about it, and in the beginning, we didn't have much information, so we used what was available, which is, of course, uploads to YouTube, um, what witnesses reported, and a lot of the rumors that were swirling around as well. And you just had to take all that and try to process it into finding a direction to search and examine. And my direction, I watched a couple of other YouTubers for quite a while that were working really hard to figure something out. Again, early on with very little to go on. And they were searching videos for what could be seen in the background, what could be seen in the rooftops, what could be seen in the shadows. And that's where my examinations were as well. So it was a crapshoot, and everybody was going through it together. There were a lot more people involved at that time, and I feel like it was a pretty open-minded environment at that time. You know, right or wrong, people were getting support from other people and encouragement to continue to search for something that fit. So I just went along with that, and I searched just like everybody else, and finally decided, I'm going to put my first video out, which is, of course, the palm tree video. And it was just what it was. It was a conversation piece, and it went along just like that. You had that was out there for 7 or 8 months, and the conversation went about the same week in and week out. It looked like something was in it. People had strong opinions about whether there was or wasn't, and that same discussion could go on indefinitely. And it really wasn't a topic that was going to make or break anything. It was just something that was explored early on, like so many other things. And but there were a lot of views on that, and it was a good conversation piece, and it kind of an is what it is type of video. So since then, a lot has happened. A lot of information has been released, and we've all moved along quite a good ways since then to look at the information that we've been given and examine that. So the focus is definitely lessened in terms of things that could be seen in those videos around the venue, and been more on what's gone on inside the Mandalay Bay and what's gone on in these reports.
Well, with this whole shooting, I felt in the beginning the only information I was getting was from YouTube. I mean, you could get articles here and there, but if you wanted anything to watch on this, the media wasn't. They dropped it. And the only thing we could do is watch YouTube, and for people like WEG and LSVA putting out their drops every week, I still to this day we wouldn't have what we have. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, there's some key members in this community that there's a ton of them that are working hard day and night, and the two you just mentioned have been so critical to being able to access this information, and the way they've uploaded it and tried to organize it and make sense of it. I mean, gosh, the whole evidence dump has been just this big game of 52 card pickup, the way it's been delivered. And so if it weren't for those guys, we wouldn't be where we are.
Oh yeah, I mean, we would be downloading the RJ's videos, what they want to put out, their 2-minute video of, I don't know, what is it now, 250 plus body cams, I believe.
Yeah,
number.
I believe you're right. I believe it's right around 250, and it's interesting. The ones that actually have a timestamp, there's about 50 of them, and of those 50, one of the body cams that has a timestamp in it has been released 16 different times. So it's the same body cam 16 different times, and it's counted as one of those 50 that has a timestamp. So you're well under 40 as far as individual, unique, separate body cams that have timestamps. I believe there's another one that's got it counts as 3 body cam releases. It's the same body cam 3 different times. It's timestamped. So we're down in the mid 30s in terms of genuine separate body cams released with timestamps out of 250.
Well, I'm curious to know your thoughts on this. Why do you think that they broke those videos up? Like you said, 16 videos or one person. Why not just release that all as one body cam?
All I can say is I hope it's not cataloged that way in their database, because it's going to be tough to research it effectively for them.
I mean, yeah, I'm just curious on, you think they're cutting out something that maybe they don't want us to see? Or, I mean, because there's got to be a reason they're chopping these videos up like this, right?
You would think so. Certainly, not much is done without a reason in their world, you know, in law enforcement. So
I mean, they say, you know, and I hear the words conspiracy nutter and things like that, but when you see things like this, I mean, why? What are we doing here? Why are we going to break a video up that's one officer? Why not just give us the whole video?
well, it's interesting that they don't have a problem releasing 5 and 6 hour long videos. That's not the issue. So it does beg the question: why are they all divided oddly?
Right. All right. We'll move on from that topic. You want to say?
It raises suspicion. It raises suspicion, Truth Bomb, like so many things, and that's, I think, what's all kept us here for so long, is that there's just been one thing after another that raises suspicion. It's almost infinite.
But if you know, you know what I'm saying, though, you know, you get called names because you see the suspicion and you call it out, and you want to know, really, we just want answers. You know, I know that's what I want. I'm sure that's what you want. I'm sure that's what, you know, 99% of this community want. It's just answers. So I don't know. It's just, to me, it's crazy that the way they do it, and I guess that's the only way we're going to get it, though. So I guess there ain't no reason I'm harping on it.
Yeah, we get what we get here. It's not a pleasant situation for anybody, you know, and you just kind of go back to the general assessment. Unless you believe lock, stock, and barrel in what's been given to you, no matter how oddly it's been given to you, then there's always questions. Even if you're very close to believing in 100% of what's been given to you in the reports and so forth, almost everybody still has additional questions. Some many more than others, but it's ongoing.
Absolutely. All right, moving on. I want to touch on something, some of your work that you did here on the rooftop guy. I mean, when I watched this video, my mouth dropped. And I contacted you and asked you, could I use it in one of my videos, and you let me. But I'd like to, when you seen that for the first time, I'd like to know what you thought you were looking at, because when you say 5 or 6 hour videos, I think that was a 5 or 6 hour video, if I'm not mistaken.
It really was a long one, and looking at the computer screen at just the right time to see that rooftop runner appear, I was kind of surprised to see it, and certainly questioned what a single individual would be doing up there shortly after 11 o'clock, more or less in a full sprint, running and jumping around on that rooftop. You know, it's been suggested that it was some form of security or law enforcement. It's tough because law enforcement formed teams that night, you know, security formed teams as well. And to see somebody up there running by themselves, it was way out of place.
Right. Now, do you think I've watched the video probably over 100 times myself. Do you think that was a gun he was carrying? Or
when I look at it, it definitely looks like the person was carrying something with them, some sort of backpack. And of course, it's like so many things, very difficult to make out. But then you see what looks to be like something hanging off of the right side. As that runner comes back across the rooftop, it looks like something's hanging off the right side. You can see something pointed, protruding out just in front of their waistline. And it's, with the reports of shots being fired right in that immediate area, it suggests that could be somebody up there firing shots, if for no other reason to further terrorize people.
Right. Well, to me, when I watched it, I watched it and I put it in a program where I could zoom in on it. And yeah, it's a blurry picture, but to me, it is in the form of a gun. Now, I can't say it's 100% a gun because I just don't have clear proof. But to me, if I had to guess, it is in the form of a gun. I guess that's another one of those we'll never know. But damn good find, man. Thank you for bringing that to us. And another question. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'll always bring what I can, right or wrong. If it's something that adds to the conversation, and at times something I wanted to contribute something that someone who was better at this research could possibly use if they weren't applying it already, and just make a contribution, and have those that are better at it take it and run with it if it's worthwhile. If it's not worthwhile, fine. No loss.
Oh, absolutely. My next question is for you, and then we'll move on to what we're here for. I just want a little bit. I don't want you to go like way off into this, but do you think they're lying to us? That's just as blatant as I can put it.
Well, I mentioned the word suspicions, and there's just been a ton of suspicions, things to be suspicious about as we've gone through this. And I don't know, you can pick any one of them. You can pick things that are going on inside the hotel room. There's things that a lot of people find suspicious about that. All the 911 calls after 11 o'clock. If that's not suspicious, nothing is. I don't know where you're going to find that many 911 calls coming in an hour's time. And Mr. Burgundy did a video on that. Great job breaking it down. I think he said something to the effect of about 77 of those callers reported actually hearing the shots themselves. So take some of the hearsay out of it, and if you can find 77 people calling in different locations in a city claiming to have heard shots anywhere on any other night, good luck, because it's just not out there.
Well, I've had conversations with people about this, and I'll tell you, like I told them, man, okay, say 5 people called in. Could 5 people be wrong? Maybe. 77? I just don't see it. Something went on that hour. It is very suspicious, like you said, but I don't know what it is, because again, we haven't been told or seen any evidence that someone died in that hour, besides the people that were at the hospital, or but I just don't. There's something there. 77 people weren't wrong.
I don't see how they could be, especially when they're in different locations as much as a mile or two apart.
I'm with you 100%. Well, let me give you a little background on why I created this and ask you to help me out with it. I watched other channels, and I'm not going to name those channels. I'm not going to bash any of those channels. I have nothing against those people. They, that's their channel. They can run it how they please, and that's the same way I'm going to run mine. But us searching for answers, watch every bit of everything we can find, whether it's this channel, that channel, this video, or that video. So we want to know if someone has new evidence, can it help us? So I mean, we watch everything, and sometimes I don't want to, but I do it anyway. But the reason I created this is because it just seems like some of these channels are just going, it was the same thing every single time I clicked on, with the same people giving the same evidence. And I happened to make a comment in one of those, and they said I was abusing them. I don't really understand that, but I just said, you keep putting out the same regurgitated things, and why don't you try something new? And then I got hit for abusing and blocked and all that good stuff. Well, to that person, I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything by it. I just wanted you to do something different. If you're listening out there. But moving on from that, that's the reason I created this. And I also wanted to create what we call a Survivor series. And that is can help us so far in this investigation. It just seems like the way the community's gone over the last couple of months is scaring them off. So I wanted to create a series where they felt comfortable. You know what I mean? I wanted them to have a place where they could come speak about their feelings and just not be judged on what they saw, what they think they saw, or what they went through. I mean, could you imagine walking through those shoes, Secrets? I mean, I can't.
No, absolutely not. I can't imagine it at all. Nobody knows what they would do in that situation. And so it's great that you're doing that, because like I've said before, the more that come forward and share what they saw, where they saw it, it can be looked into to see if there's anything to it. And that's what this whole process has been all about. It's just exploring the possibilities and hoping to find answers in doing so. Too many people see that this just doesn't add up completely.
I mean, every single one of those people have a story to tell. I mean, they did make it out of there, but they are victims. I mean, you're being shot at. You're victims, and you're also survivors. And they have a story to tell, and a lot of them want to tell it, but they don't want to be told, things like, you didn't see this. Well, that's exactly why I'm creating that, because I'm not going to tell them they didn't see it, because I wasn't there and I didn't see it for myself. So how the hell am I going to say you didn't see that? I mean,
it's good that you're putting forth a format that people can speak nice and freely about their experiences. That's what this is all about.
And some of those people may have evidence that helps us in this case, but they're just terrified to release it, or I don't know. I mean, to me, I don't know how many other groups off of YouTube still study this case like we do, but I just want to give them a platform to feel comfortable in, and then have discussion with them and let them get it off their chest, and then go on and try to live the rest of your life as free as you can and as happy as you can. And hopefully that's the way it goes down. We'll see starting October 1st, but
I feel pretty confident most of us all wish all survivors can experience as much happiness as humanly possible going forward after having gone through such a horrific event and being terrorized to the extent that they were. And so there's plenty of compassion from so many directed at the survivors, and I share in that compassion for sure.
Right. I mean, God bless them all is what I say,
Yeah.
All right, we're going to move on. I've never really done this before. Well, I've never done a lot before, so I guess it's all new to me, but I am in the process of making a video, and I didn't get to put it out tonight. So we're going to our first video that we are going to do is actually going to be shown to you the way I create a video. So what I want to do here, Secrets, is let it play. It's only 2 minutes long. Then we'll get some thoughts back from you, and then we will continue forward with questions. So let me get this thing up on the screen here, and we will move. All right, and here we go. We'll let it play. Let me pause it for a second. It doesn't have a lot of music in it, but I've got the sound down. All right. Now that we've seen that, I'm gonna keep it up here on the screen. There's a lot there in a little bit of time that I think needs to be gone over because. And first of all, let's thank Angelica Gretchen for bringing this video out. A subscriber sent it to me and said that she wanted somebody to do it, and that's the way we moved on it. But
it's a good catch. It's a good catch.
That's a damn good catch.
And and it just brings more questions out to be explored and see what fits with what. It's putting a puzzle together on this thing. It's a matter of collectively researching through all this stuff and seeing what can be paired together to draw a conclusion. And that's a great one for you to point out right there. I've listened to that. I've listened to that audio. I'd love to hear that audio enhanced. I know that they do reference the Tropicana. Oh, I'm sorry. No, T-Mobile. They reference the T-Mobile Center or the T-Mobile location. But right before they reference the T-Mobile location, they make mention of another place of business or something that's, I believe they're referencing the T-Mobile location because this place that they're referencing is immediately next to it. So anyhow, if we can get a little more out of that audio somehow and perhaps come to a conclusion on just what location they are referencing, it could be another clue. And so you're right. There's a lot in that short little video there to decipher.
Why are we hearing gunshots around what I think to be around 11:20 to 11:23? Because I took this video off of LSVA's site, and it's timestamped that I think it was like 11:22:23 or something like that when they say that the medics are being fired at. So that's the way I was going with my timeline, because I wanted to make sure everybody's seen the time. Because we shouldn't be hearing shots at 11:20 to 11:23.
No, we're told that didn't happen.
But I hear something there. I mean, and then you got medics reporting shots after we heard this. Now, I mean, it's a little suspicious to me.
I hear you. It's very suspicious, like so many things, and you know, it just adds to the answers we're seeking. We want answers to all this,
right? Funny thing is, if everybody here knows my past, I'm sure of it, but I do think helicopters were involved in this thing somehow, some way, whether they were there for extraction and drop-offs, or if they were firing. I don't have any proof of that. I can't prove that. I've actually stopped trying to prove that. But they were there doing something.
Well, there's a pilot in this community and former military in this community who I know would share in that belief with you strongly. And so I just have to wait to see what comes out of all this, if anything can be determined about that. I mean, it can't be ruled out. When you say some involvement, you know, that it's a broad term. And in looking through videos myself, I haven't seen anything that is concrete, you know, muzzle flash coming out of them or anything like that. It's really tough to tell. And that flight radar activity is beyond me. I mean, I know it's been examined by a few different folks extensively, and there's so many questions within that area as well.
Right. I just caught my ear when she says, was that coming from the helicopter right after she heard the gunshots? You know, it's just like, hold on. Say that again. Is the way I thought about it. So that's the way I put it in the video. But
it's hard to rule out much. I mean, there's some things we can rule out, of course, but there's obviously a few topics that continue to go on that just need more looking into, you know, to be sure that nothing nefarious was going on there. And I know there's people on both sides of the fence on that. Some believe firmly that it's all by the book and there's nothing to see in that arena. And but I'll wait to see if there's nothing to see.
Who knows, man? We might run across something. Another part of this video is at the end of it, she says, she drops the F-bomb and then says it was a shooting. And I want to know if she thinks it's a shooting. The medics are saying they're being shot at. It's 11:20 to 11:23 at night. I want to know why we're not being told of why they were shooting when we've all been told there was no shooting.
And when she said that, just a split second or two before that, someone else said the same thing. Someone else, you could hear them confirm it being shots. And so I think she was essentially reconfirming it at that point, or I don't know, maybe there was some communication that they received that confirmed it, but they did discuss where that was occurring in that same brief exchange.
Right. Well, what I'm going to do is I'll release this video a little later, and I will put the links to the regular video that I took all this out of underneath it, and then I will somehow bring it back into the live chat and put the link on it. I'll have to add it after it's uploaded, but we'll get it on here, and everybody can go watch the whole video for themselves and make their own decisions on it. But it brings up a great point, man, of what was going on that strip after 11 o'clock. The chaos did not stop. I think we're all well aware of that. So we'll leave that one there, and I guess we'll move on to our second video we were going to have a chatter about. And I think I'm going to let you do more of the introduction on this video, because you actually have made a video on this. And I'm just going to say this before it comes up, or before I put it on the screen, that this was one hell of a video. Must have watched it 2 to 3 times, and if you turn away for a second, you will miss something. But everybody knows that that's the Lady Justice video. And since you have been a little part of that, I'm going to bring it up on the screen here, and I'm going to let you talk about it for a second. Just what your thoughts on it. Did you have any key points in it?
Like you said, if you look away for a second, you'll miss something, because
man, it's crazy.
It's amazing. It's full of key points, and yeah, a few stick out in my mind for sure. Absolutely.
How many times have you watched it?
Too many. Too many, I'll tell you. Too much time on these devices. Looking at these videos, it's amazing how much time gets sunk into all this. But yeah, I mean, I looked at that video multiple times, and I know a lot of people are really excited about what that video brings to us as far as looking into the activities of Levi Hancock that night, the whereabouts of Levi, why the report says he was already joined up with the team, when we can see clearly on body cam that he was not joined up with the team yet. And so there's more questions right there just from making the assessment that Lady Justice did by bringing all the body cam activity together and determining who was where when. And there's probably more of that determination that's needed in this, determining who was where when. But especially when it comes to Levi Hancock being the first one to enter with, of course, no body cam.
Right. I guess what sticks out to me about the whole video is, and the 36 minutes. Where was this guy for 36 minutes? What was he doing? Why is he saying places they're saying places he was when he wasn't. It's just the 36 seconds that I'm like zeroed in on, and I have no answer.
Yeah. Yeah, 36 minutes is a pretty long time. And I believe there was another period of time that was roughly 18 minutes where we don't really know where he was either. But he certainly was not in the elevators with the team that he supposedly joined up with to go up in the elevators together. He was somewhere else mysteriously, and wherever he was, he needed to put on gloves
Gloves. Oh, I don't know what the glove deal was about with them. I don't know. I'm not going to get into much about the gloves, but
It's just an observation from 10:16 p.m. I'm sorry, from 10:36 p.m. until the next time he's seen, I believe, at 10:54.
right,
He had a need to put those gloves on, and then of course he had a need to take those gloves right back off to set that breech.
right. But you think he would take the gloves off to do the breach, correct?
Yeah, I would expect that. I would expect that, and
I just
I'm
don't.
just not sure. I mean, heck, one thing I haven't done is gone back and looked to see how many other officers who entered that building and were going to the 32nd floor to make entry. How many of those officers had gloves on, or was it just Levi?
I never thought about
It,
that myself.
it's just an interesting question. I mean, is it a trend? Do most of them wear gloves in these situations or not? It's just something else to look at as we explore so many things.
Right. Well, any other key points you want to bring up? I mean, there's just so much in there. And again, like I said, the thing that sticks out to me is the 36 minutes of him missing, and we could all speculate of what he was doing. I don't know if this guy can be trusted at all, but
Well, that and then the hardware that's visible on his shoulder, 10:36 p.m. and the casino floor area. That hardware seems to be configured differently and or missing when we see him again later on, about 10:54. And at that time when we see him again, he of course is running toward the center bank elevator area from the 100 wing on the 32nd floor by himself. And that is, I couldn't believe my eyes. I mean, that is not expected.
it's crazy. Just got a text message of Levi Hancock, and I don't know who sent it to me. Whatever this picture is, he does not have any gloves on because his hands are on the wall. So I don't know. I'll have to get to the bottom of that later. But
Hey, is there a timestamp on
there is not a timestamp. Imagine that.
it?
Oh, one thing I want to point out this video is the ending of it. Now, I have no idea who wrote those words, but I mean, it brought it all to back to perspective for me of why we're doing this in the first place, and it was very, very well worded, and man, it was a little tough to sit through the first time. You got any thoughts on that?
I'm sorry, it broke up just a second. Can I ask you to say that again?
Yeah, the ending of the video, the words that they were so well spoken, and I mean it was amazing that it just brought it all back to perspective for me of why we're doing this in the first place. And I think that was what this person was trying to say. And if they're out there listening, bravo. I mean, it worked. It definitely hit me. A little tough to watch the first time. What are your thoughts on it?
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, there was that. It was a touching message that was put on the end of that video, and it really registered with you. And like you said, reminded us all of how we're all in this with the same interest in mind, and the meaning behind what we're doing. Look, we're limited. There's only so much we can do. This is in general terms, this is a rough exercise to go through. For however many people are out here going through this with us, not to mention what the survivors are going through along the way. So yeah, that was a one heck of an ending, to really draw it into perspective.
Sorry about that. Just going off of maybe going just a little bit away from this video. You know, Levi wasn't the only zebra up there. So why do you think we're not seeing their body cams, or why didn't they have body cams on?
That's a good question. That's, you know, other than, obviously Zebra 9 was on the 62nd floor, while the officers were preparing to enter the 32nd floor hallway and place the explosive breach. I believe I've got the time straight on that, on those two body cams. So you've got Zebra 9 up there responding to a different area of the hotel. And by the time he makes his way down to where everybody said this was all occurring, which is 32135, it's over. So I would think you would want as many highly trained professionals in the same team to respond together when preparing for that breach and so forth. But they were responding all over the place. It looks like SWAT was.
They were, and I mean, I've heard 4th floor, 29th floor, 31st floor. All over. You're right. And
well, and again, it's been suggested that due to a time limit, they were in a rush to make this happen, that SWAT couldn't collectively respond in their normal fashion. But here again, we've got SWAT members in different places, seemingly not communicating.
I have to believe that a SWAT unit works as a unit. Like when any SWAT I've ever seen comes in as a unit and takes care of the problem. Now I know they might have been different places and all, but I just feel like they would have had, okay, meet me at this location and let's go do this, and do it together as they train, together. They don't train to go do individual things. They are there for a reason. When they are called in, it is to delete a problem.
Yeah,
as a team.
They're trained as like a well-oiled machine to operate as a team. Sure.
This is the worst shooting in modern USA history, correct? And
that's what I believe.
We got K9 officers with SWAT. I mean, every kind of officer you can think of. I think there was even bicycle officers up there. I'm pretty sure there were.
Yes. Yes.
This is just not how real life works, correct? I mean, I would like to think anyway. I mean, if we're paying these guys with our tax dollars, I would expect them to be a group and operate as a group. I've never been able to understand that. And it drives me up the wall of why we seen what we seen in those videos. And to me, it makes no sense. I'll let you. You got anything left on that one? I mean, is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think we touched on the key points there in that video, which it's 50 minutes long, so I'm sure we didn't hit them all. No, but the gloves are interesting to me. The hardware on the shoulder is interesting to me. Those two things seem to change from earlier images to later images. Hancock's location, when he is seen again at 1054, being in that 100 wing hallway. I mean, wow. And then going back down the 200 wing hallway, down the stairs, across the 31st floor all the way, and back up the stairs. I could see that move. You're not confident in moving forward down that hallway, knowing that the door's been shot through. There's a shooter in that room. but you've already been down there.
Right. I agree 100%, man. It's just strange how all this seems to play out and all the suspicions around it. There's that word again, but it's a little much for me. But we'll keep on, and I'm sure I'll watch that video again. My passion's so deep for this at this point that that's what I do. I analyze and analyze and analyze.
I have been thinking through something recently that I find real interesting. Do we have a minute? And I can, I won't try to take up much time with it, but it's just been eating at me. It's been eating at me. I thought I'd mention. Mr. Burgundy had a commenter come on his channel and talk about that weapon that is over the left leg of the dead guy in the room. It's got the bipod scope on it, and it's literally positioned over his left leg. We're all familiar with it, I'm sure. And he researched it. Burgundy researched it, and his commenter was accurate from everything Burgundy could tell. And that was a FN Hirschnell AR-15, which fires 223 caliber ammo. My first thought was, well, gosh, it maybe it was converted to fire 308 ammo. I mean, that's not a very difficult task on these AR platforms. You can change the lower receiver, bolt carrier group in the barrel, and you can go to a number of different calibers that are available. So I thought, well, gosh, surely it's been changed. I mean, they're reporting it as an AR-10, which is of course a 308. And I got to ponder it a little bit more, and I thought, well, maybe not. Maybe it's the original commenter on the topic said there's nothing changed about that gun. And honestly, I haven't spent a ton of time trying to examine it in the photos or in any of the imagery. But because, like so many things, it's probably just super hard to really confirm. But if it is indeed a rifle that shoots 223 caliber ammo, and it is equipped with a bipod and a scope, then it is a weapon that would be used to target something with pinpoint accuracy. And you would obviously be aware and knowledgeable of what your target is when you're firing that weapon. So, the information we've been given is that this was a bunch of spraying from outside that hotel room window. It was random spraying in the down at the crowd. Well, what was that weapon doing there? And were any of the empty casings in the room out of that weapon? If so, then that weapon was fired from that room in a sniper-like fashion with key targets in mind. So as the imagination goes, you start wondering, well, gosh, if somebody was shooting at predetermined targets with a weapon like that out of that room, was there some sort of assassination attempt within all of this? I mean, gosh, was the whole mass shooting a cover-up for some sort of targets? It's a suggestion. Obviously, I'm speculating, but it's food for thought. And I haven't heard much discussion around that since Burgundy put the video out on it. But as you can imagine, my wheels have been turning on it, like so many things.
Oh yeah, I mean, to me, that's a great discussion to have, especially if you can find a gun expert or, I, for one, am not. I own a few, but I like to shoot them.
Yeah.
But I think you've got something there, and you need to continue to dig into it if you want my opinion on it.
It's a question that goes up on the board for hoping to have an answer to it later on, I guess. And unfortunately, we're not getting any more answers.
No, we're not, are we? All right. So anything else you got left for the Lady Justice topic, or?
Man, not that I can think of right now.
Okay. Well, I do have a third video for you, and it just happens to be yours.
Oh no. That's That's already questionable.
Oh, oh, I think we'll make it through it. I'm gonna bring it here up here on the screen, and you will see it. It is your video, and unfortunately, I am going to go here because I do think some things need to be said in this community, and I think we need to. There needs to be more positivity and working together. But I watched the show that went on my channel, and then you actually created a video about it, and I would like to know your thoughts on what you were thinking as making this video and as reading those disturbing comments. Please, if you don't mind, just give me a minute, maybe a minute or two on how your feelings are on this subject here.
Let's see if I can see what you have there.
It is your video.
Oh, that one. Oh, all right. And you said you're playing it?
No, I'm not going to play it. I'm just going to let you. I think at this point everybody here's seen it. I'll leave the link in the description once I upload this video.
I mean, you're right. It's unfortunate that we get into these debates and conversations of this nature, and it's at the end, it's all somewhat of a disappointment that the conflict exists, and nobody likes to get involved in it. I generally don't. I've been around in this community a long time, trying to learn, and in doing that, you're constantly reading comments and watching other people's video and ideas and information, and you can't miss it. You see ongoing conflicts, and there's not a ton of people that get into pushing, shoving matches, I guess you'd call them, but proverbial pushing and shoving matches. But it's just disappointing when you see it, so I don't know. I mean, that video was basically past due, really, and it's not about necessarily 100% about what's happened most recently. It's about trying to keep things on track a little bit.
I agree 100%. I mean, this is getting a little bit out of control. And it's the elephant in the room that everybody, is discussing right now. I mean, that's just what it is. It's seeming to take over the community, and it's again stopping the conversations. It's stopping the trying to find evidence. It's creating something that doesn't need to be created. And who cares that you have your opinion, I have mine, some other person might have theirs. That's fine. That's why we all have separate channels. If you don't like my opinion, by all means unsubscribe and never come back. I will not be mad at you. You go do your thing and let me do mine. I'm not here for subscribers. I've been in this game a long time, and I think I just got over 500. I mean, whether I'm talking to 10 of you or I'm talking to 60 of you, I want to talk to whoever's listening, who wants to hear or see what I put out. I'm not going to go to your channel and bash you on your content. I mean, everybody knows that, I'm not a narrative person. I'm not. I think there's just too much info here to show us that it's not. I mean, we're using their evidence that they are giving us against them, and most of us are making pretty good strides in what we're doing. it's not like it's just made up. It's actually their evidence. And it just, to me, it's, I don't know, man. I think it's gotten out of hand. I did notice something throughout all this nonsense, and I think you, as I'm looking here, have 107 comments on here, and I think let's see here, my video, there's 123 comments.
They're all going to go away pretty soon.
Yes.
You know, it's occasionally I feel like if we can do a little better job of communicating peacefully, a lot more will be accomplished. And occasionally I feel like that reminder needs to be put out there. Others have put this same sort of reminder out there. Maybe probably not like the way I did, you know, but those comments are going away because in general, I just detest the filth, you know, including when it comes from me. I mean, I don't like it when I get mad and I want to lash out. That's not why we're here, you know. And so it's not a pleasant situation, but it's just a little bit of manners and a little bit of decency goes a long way. You know, there are plenty out there that I disagree with in a major way. Not plenty, but there's a few out there I disagree with in a major way. And it does me no good to go and put up some sort of big challenge about what it is they think. If they ask me, I'll share it with them. But anyway, I think that there's a bit more of a peaceful way we can get through this.
It just goes back to, if you don't think anything I'm saying is truthful, then please, you know, by all means, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Please leave.
And I mean, everybody knows where I stand on that whole topic. I've made it clear, right or wrong. You know, I spoke my opinion on it. So I know we'll all move on and you know, try to do the best we can at this, and everybody continue to contribute.
Well, I happen to, again, 107 on yours, 123 on mine. I've read them all 230 of them. I've read them all, and it's just, as in what I feel from these comments as in a whole is the community wants to come back together. They don't want to do this nonsense anymore. And I feel like if we give a positive platform, which is another reason I created this, because this is the last time we're going to have this discussion about things of this nature, because from now on, and I've taken pride in the past of not ever deleting a comment. I let people say what they want to say. I think I'm a big First Amendment right, you know, type of guy, but I cannot sit back and watch someone speak to a survivor like that. If you do not like that survivor, that's fine. Don't talk to him. It's that simple. If you don't like any of us at all, don't talk to us. I'm okay with that.
It is pretty much that easy.
I mean, it's seriously that easy, and it just sucks that it's come to this. But again, with 230 comments, I told you I've read them all, and I noticed one person didn't comment. Out of 230 comments, one person didn't comment. And that's the actual person that the whole damn thing started with. So
yeah.
I reached out to this person because I think her being a survivor and some of the things I've seen her go through over the last, 11 months now, 12 months, right? 12 months on YouTube is just, to me, it's crazy. I mean, these people, they are not us. They had to actually have the bullets flying by their heads. And, so I actually did reach out to this person, and I'm actually going to bring this person on live as we speak. So CL, would you please come on and introduce yourself?
Hello, Truth Bomb and Secret. I think everybody
Hey,
knows who I am now.
Yes, well, I'm very happy to have you.
I don't know who's in the chat because I chose not to even look at it so that I could just say how I feel without having to go through that or watch it. But I want to say hello to everybody there.
Well, I decided that I picked two good moderators. Trust me, they're handling it over there. I hadn't seen it either, but that they'll do fine. But I wanted to bring you in, and again, I like I said, I reached out to you because I didn't see you comment on this. I mean, some of the comments in here, and I think the first one starts with the FUCL or FCL or something like that.
Yes, I saw that.
You being a survivor, I can only imagine that those kind of things bother you, and still you didn't comment on it. And I've seen you in the past. You're very, you talk a lot in these chat rooms, but for some reason you just took the higher card here and didn't say anything. And I feel like you need to at least address this, and because again, after this episode of this show, we are done with it forever. We are going to be positive. We are going to, enjoy what we're doing. And if you don't want to be on our side anymore, the side that's trying to prove, then we're just not going to pay you any attention anymore. I'm over it. So with that being said, I would like to know your feelings on these comments that you've read on here. And I'm so sorry that you had to actually read them, but please go ahead.
Well, I appreciate that. And it was really difficult to read all that. It's actually very difficult to see a lot of what's going on in this community and how people are attacking each other and being accused of attacking. And it really isn't fair. I think we're all here. Well, I can't say that anymore. I can't say all of us. But I think the majority of us are here for one reason, and that's to find answers. And, and that's why I'm here. I came on here when I got home from Vegas, and I watched what happened and I saw Lombardo give his speech, and the time changed every day. I was just like, there's something off here. And then when I heard it was firecrackers, and I knew better, and I'm not going to go into my story right now. I will do that later on. I do plan on going into that on a different time, and I would like to focus on that. I don't think I've ever really put myself back into that moment, because I think it takes me out of the focus if I try not to completely put myself into the emotional side of it. I can focus on this, because right now this is more important to me, is finding out what happened. But so I've been on here for 11 months, and that person who's been commenting about me, and this isn't the first time. I've had other people make comments, and it is what it is, and you can't please everybody. But I've heard this person make comments before. This isn't the first time. I've chose to ignore some of it after I get to the point where I can't deal with it anymore. And this time I don't know what it was about, but the comments that I play this victim card, I don't even know what that means, because I have never in 12 months being here claimed to be a victim. Although I do say, why aren't we? In a sense, we're a victim of the tragedy that night. But I don't use that term, and I've never used that word.
I think you're absolutely right in the victim part. You are a victim. You didn't have to be shot to be a victim there.
But I don't use it to my benefit. If anybody thinks that there's a benefit to this, there isn't. They have no idea what we live through every day. They don't. I assumed. I did tell my story in the beginning, and I assumed that most people knew it, even this individual, because some people are claiming that they know my story when they apparently don't. So when I hear things that I got out quickly, well, I'll tell you, when I hear everybody got out quickly, uh, that you have no idea what that does to me, because that 10 minutes or 11, 12 minutes, whatever it was, seemed like an hour, eternity, to be honest. So it wasn't quickly for any of us. And, if I will say I got out at 10:40. If that's quickly, fine. But, I just don't think that people should talk like that, have a right to tell our story or assume. And all this was because of Gates in the venue. Well, I'm based my opinion. Of course, I'm in survivor groups, and that's with thousands of survivors. And you hear the stories, and you hear how they had to break down Gates. They had to get over them. And from what I understand, there might have been a couple open. I really don't know, but I do know that thousands were trying to get out of there and hopping fences and were, trampled, and, so it's just, I don't understand it, but I don't feel that anybody has a right to say anything about any survivor's experience. It's not something that I asked for. It's not something that I want, so that, anyways, back to that conversation in that chat room, I don't feel that I have to personally say that I'm being harassed. Stop harassing me for it to be harassment. I did feel attacked. I felt that it was leading to it was interrogation, and it was leading to harassment. And I appreciate all the people that did, I saw the comments, and thank you, because that's what they need. That's what's needed for survivors to feel safe, is for people to notice that. And, for this one individual to say that it wasn't, and, well, this, CL didn't say anything that it was. Well, I don't need to. Other people saw it. And how am I going to get other survivors to open up and come in here and tell their stories when it isn't a safe environment? We have so much to learn, and we can't learn when people are in the chat for 11 months in chats that are trying to find answers and commenting and interrogating people. If you don't believe in what that chat's about, why are you even there? It's not necessary.
I definitely agree with that. But it's been going on for a long time. It's not just this one instance. Is there any other things
Well, I know that, you're aware, and I'm sure other people, in the past, that I've been accused of many things not being there, or I've been harassed with people that I trusted. And it was a lesson learned, and in the chat rooms, there's two individuals that are in groups together. I made a mistake and said it was a Facebook group. It wasn't. It was a YouTube channel. And this was all because of somebody messaging me and asking if I was CL. Well, I'm open. You can ask me anything, and I'll do my best to try to answer. If I don't know the answer, I don't know the answer. I'll give my opinion, So, and that's basically what I did. And it was awkward questions. And they asked about certain people that I met. And let me just say this before I even say that. I've met a lot of nice people, and I've made new friends along the way. And there's been a lot of positive things through all this, and there's been negative. But, this person was talking about people that I met and questioning them. And I said, you don't have to worry about those people. They are true. They are real. They're my friends. I trust them 100%. Well, as time went on, I think I sent you the email.
You did? Hold on one second. No.
The message. And the only reason I'm bringing this up because, you know, the truth is, if you're going to go out there and keep talking about it and telling your story, it isn't fair that other people can't tell the truth. Because this person blocked me after this, and I was shocked because I basically just answered a question, and you know, and they were talking about a channel. Well, if I don't care for a certain channel, then that's my right.
It absolutely is your right. And like I said, if you don't care for that, I'm sure you're not subscribed. I'm sure you don't go to that channel and make a bunch of noise.
No, I don't.
And so forth. But I've got your first picture that you wanted me to show up here.
That's how it began, you know, our UCL. Well, I didn't message this person. I'll call her Jay. And she messaged me, and I was forthcoming, and, you know, although some of the questions I thought were very odd, I tried to answer them, you know, as honest as I could. But then, you know, later on it got to this you know, when somebody was brought up, and I said, well, I don't go to that channel. And apparently they did. They only went to one channel to spy on, you know, to see if they were saying something about this particular person. Well, I made a comment that I didn't care for that. Well, I probably worded it wrong. I probably should have said the channel, because I don't. I mean, I don't go there. It's not one of my channels that I'm subscribed to. You know, mind you, I don't subscribe to every channel. I subscribe to the ones that I truly have an interest, that have the same beliefs that I do. And this was our last conversation. And this is the kind of things that I've been dealing with from people. I put my trust in this person. I, you know, did nothing wrong, and this is what I get. But later on, it's being, you know, told in groups that I started it because she liked this person and I didn't. So now I'm being attacked by two people in channels because because there's groups. People are splitting off into groups and defending each other. And that's not what this is about. You know, yes, I've made good friends, and I'll defend them if I believe in what they're saying, and people are attacking that. Yeah, I will. It's not that I'm, you know, bashing them. I'm just saying, yeah, no, I believe in that.
Right. And you know, I don't really understand those messages, because I actually happen to know that person who did those, and that's just out of character for her. I've always known her to be, you know, a nice person, and I don't know what was going on with that. I wasn't in the middle, and I'm not going to be, but I see that kind of stuff come over, and yes, you are a survivor, and I've said it in this stream again. You are not us. I mean, we're out looking for the truth for you, you know.
Well, that's what I thought, and I never asked for special treatment because I'm just giving you guys my experience of what I went through, and you know, and trying to help. And that's the only reason, because I do feel that there's a lot of things we aren't being told. I do feel, because of the way things went down, there's a lot that's being hidden, you know. So I don't, you know, I'm only there for 11 months to find answers, like the rest of you, like all of us.
Right.
You know, and this is I'm sorry, but this, you know, these aren't the only people. I've been called many names, you know, all because of, you know, my knowing that it happened. And I've been accused that it's fake, call a liar because, you know, of being there, that I'm an actor, this and that. You know, I know for a fact, I mean, well, of course I know it was real, but I don't believe in crisis actors.
Well, can you do me a favor here? I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, because I don't like giving these people the opportunity. But how do you feel when you hear it's fake? I mean, how does that make you feel, knowing you were there and what you witnessed?
Well, at first I felt I was angry. I was upset for what everybody went through, and these people, the ones that did pass away, these, you know, it disgusts me because they should be respected and remembered. And I, over time, I I feel sorry for them, because even up to recently, I thought that a few months ago, for some reason, I thought, we've lost a lot of those channels who believed it was fake, and that was a great thing. But recently, I've been told it was fake again, and I was like, I thought those people finally realized that, they were wrong, but I just feel sorry for them now. I feel sorry for them. It's sad, because they should be, respecting and caring more, that instead of trying to prove that it's fake, because not to me, there's nothing in there that I can see is fake.
Well, again, I would have hated them in your shoes that night. No, I have a question for you. I'm just interested in the answer.
Sure.
With individuals that you ran into in the past, that we brought a few examples up here today, but would you be friends with these people again if everything could be just squashed and we just start over and continue on our path? Or
Absolutely. I don't have anything against these people at all.
right.
I don't. I just don't like being accused of things. I don't like being accused. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I was in a room and with apparently another survivor, and I didn't know, and I have different beliefs about the speaker sound. And I made a comment, not not to discredit this person or be abusive in any way. I said my opinion and my belief. And the word around now is that, I attacked this person who turned out to be a survivor, which, I had no clue. And I, went to that person and I said, if I offended you in any way, I apologize. I had no idea. And that was not my intention. There are some beliefs because I was there that I strongly believe in. And I can't listen to some stories because I don't want to. If I start listening to other people that weren't there, it was this, it was that. Who knows? I might start thinking, well, was it? Was it? So I don't listen to that, because I know what I heard, I know what I saw, and that's just, the way it is. So I have to stay true.
Right. Seekers, do you have any questions?
A ton. Thanks for coming on, CL. Having you here on this, on this live platform, for you to come on and speak like this, it's impressive to begin with. That
I'm nervous.
I can't imagine. You touched on several things as you went through that I thought, oh, I want to touch on that topic as well. But I know I'll forget half of them. But one was, I heard you say early on, you've met a lot of nice people on this community while going through this, and I share in that. I mean, there's been a lot of people that
saw your video, and I was really touched. I was just like, wow, and I appreciate you doing that. Thank you, Secret.
You're certainly welcome. I go back to us all being here for similar reasons, with similar interests and similar suspicions, and it brings us all together. And for you to be in here exploring all this information with us, and being able to provide your firsthand testimony of what you saw, it gives good direction, and it's helpful, and it's very much appreciated.
You're welcome.
So like I said, I can't remember some of the other things you just touched on, but we need to maintain a level of decency within all these communications. I think we're all capable of it. We got some really intelligent people in these discussions, and we need each and every one of them.
And I'm not a huge channel by no means, but I urge you, you channels, you bigger channels, to let's just stop this harassment. I mean, survivor, non-survivor, a discussion can take place without the negativity. It can. And that's the one reason that I wanted her to come on, because I wanted her to have a platform to just, back herself up. And I also wanted people to hear that she's not against being your friend. She's not. She's, she just wants everybody to work together. And I think that's the way we all feel at the end of the day, is that we need to get back to working together.
Can I just say this? There are survivors that watch. Okay, they watch. They don't comment, but a lot, it has to feel safe. It has to feel comfortable. We have to pull together, as a community. I want to feel supported. I want them to feel supported, and I want to support. And I may be defensive at times, but that's just after months of being interrogated and what's been going on with, trying to speak up and help. And that's the only reason I am here, because just like everyone else, I have questions.
All right, I still have questions, so I'm right there along with you. But Todd, do you have anything else for CO?
Like I said, I don't have.
She's explained a lot. She's explained a lot, and I think it's obvious that everybody that was in that venue, in the surrounding area, that was fleeing from gunfire, was victimized. I mean, if we were all standing out somewhere and somebody started shooting and we had to run, they're effectively not only terrorizing us, but would become victims of that terror in that situation. So you pointed out, you never come across as wanting to, portray yourself as some sort of victim. I mean, you have empathy for those who went through a whole lot more than many others, and you recognize it, and it is what it is. I mean, I don't think anybody's pulling any punches on that.
Well, I think one of the comment that was made by this person, and first of all, I don't understand why we allow it. Why do we allow this person to come in day by day, and harass people? I mean, I'm not the only one, but, and I know many feel the same. I don't understand it, and some of the mods, allowing it. I just don't think that's right. How are we going to find answers if these people are in there questioning everything? That's not this about. We have to pull it. We have to start, working together. And, one thing that was said that really kind of upset me was, about comparing it with, if you weren't shot at. I mean, if you didn't get shot, any one of us, especially me, where I was, I could have been shot. And there were many of us. It doesn't mean we're not survivors or victims just because we weren't actually shot. Many of us, were grazed by bullets, including myself. And, to compare it to a potato peeler, not being a veteran because he peels potatoes, I was disgusted. That's all. That's all I can say on that one. That was awful.
Agreed. I agree.
Pretty disgusting.
There's a backdrop and a history to so much of this that's being discussed in terms of people's behavior. And so it can't all be summed up in one instance, and it can't be defined by any one of those instances either. So it's just time to recognize it. That's the bottom line, and pay respects to those that, like yourself, CL, that hang in this community looking for answers and contributing as well.
Well, this is the last thing I wanted to do. I mean, no way did I want to come up here. I come on here and have to deal with this. And, I didn't really know how to defend myself anymore. And that's why I didn't comment. I didn't know what to say. I couldn't believe what I was reading. But I felt the support from many of you commenting and agreeing. And, therefore I was kind of happy about that. So, I thank those people, but I didn't know what to say. I just couldn't believe how it was carrying on, and
especially on a video of Stephen Paddock's house.
Well, imagine when I saw that. I mean, why was my name being brought up? Why, what did I do? I was just in a chat room and I felt interrogated, and, I answered the question. If you really look at it, you can tell what it was leading to and what he was trying to do. And, he can say that it wasn't that way, but it was because that's what's happened in the past. And I've chosen to ignore it in the past. And, many people in the past have always said, knock it off. But it doesn't change anything. It never does. And I think we need changes now. I think we all need to, have rules and guidelines for this. Why are we allowing this? Don't you want answers? Don't you want more survivors to come in? How can I tell my friends to come in and let's chat? I wouldn't put this through them.
Right. Well, with all that being said, I mean, I hope that this can lead to a more positive thing, because I'm for one, I'm done with the arguing, the negativity, and again, after this show's done, I'm going to get rid of those comments, because I've got this Survivor Series coming up, and I want them to feel safe when they come in. I want them to be able to tell their story and not be just harassed or someone tell them what they did or didn't see. I just want to make sure they have a safe place to come, and so I think for my channel, I think I've talked to Secrets a little bit about this. For his channel, which he put the video out, we're just going to stop it. I mean, it's got to be positive moving forward, and I think that's the way I'm going to go. You, Secrets?
Absolutely, that's what I want. I don't like the all the scuttlebuttle at all, and it's not where my focus is for sure. But I guess this time I've got involved. But yeah, I mean, I think we can move forward effectively and do a better job with all this. And I like the work that you're doing. I'm anxious to see your upcoming shows. The Survivor Series you mentioned, I think that's going to be so valuable, and I'll be tuned in for that. Your video that you had up earlier, is that you're almost done with that, or?
Yeah, it just needs to be uploaded. I've got to render it and all that good stuff, but it'll be up by at least tomorrow.
Excellent.
But yeah, I mean, I want to thank CL for coming on and telling a little bit of her story about the way,
You're welcome.
Yeah. Just thank you. And I hope in the future maybe we can get together again at some point.
Well, I've got a couple of videos coming out, if I can ever find time to do them, and just a little bit, just kind of putting in video format some other data that I've analyzed, and I won't say it's anything too big, but it's more to have out there for everyone's review.
Cool. Well, I think with that, I think we've been going now for about an hour and 37 minutes. So I think we're going to kind of slow it down here. And again, maybe we'll do this again sometime soon, CL. And thank you for coming. And Secret Safe for you, man. I appreciate you because I was nervous as hell.
I'm just really glad you did this, and feel real fortunate to be included in it. And it means a lot. And I want to thank everybody who listened to us tonight, and you know, all those out there researching this and working so hard at it. You know, you're very much appreciated as well. So we'll just keep on keeping on, and look forward to maybe doing this again.
Well, I'd like to thank also Lady Justice for the ending of that video. That was very heartfelt to me as a survivor. I mean, it was very touching. I mean, that was just amazing. So I just wanted to put that out there. So whoever she is, thank you very much. And thank you guys.
Well, thank you. And Secrets, we'll do this again, I hope.
I'm open to it. I'd love it. Just let me know when, and we'll do it.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining in, and we will do this soon. And again, God bless. Everybody have a great night.
Have a great night.